Hello and welcome to Freedom March. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm Levan Miller. You're listening to us on 103.5 FM The Beat. We're also on channel 224. We're on channel 112. That's on cable or on Flow TV. And of course, we're on ILTV Studios on Facebook. You know, there was a time when I used to tell people that I do not particularly like people who try to diagnose people without the prerequisite qualifications, right? And so, because that has been my position always, I never try to diagnose people. And so you will very often not hear me say things like people are narcissistic because I don't have a PhD in psychology or psychiatry. You will not hear me say things like people are autistic or any of those other fancy things. You will not hear me use words like gaslighting or any of the other fancy language that you hear these days, you know, in social speak, that personally I don't think people without the prerequisite qualifications are aptly qualified to call people, right? As a matter of fact, here's a bit of transparency. One of the ways to hit my trigger is to at any time refer to me as a narcissist. Because you had better go and produce your PhD in psychology immediately after that, or I'm ripping you off of your foundation. And it's as simple, I intend to verbally destroy you. And you are going to need counseling immediately following that claim. That's my moment of transparency. Notwithstanding that, I can't help sometimes but wonder which set of English words I can use to describe the behavior of some of the people that I see in the news, and I continue to reach inside my mind for the appropriate English words. What I will say is that the English word that I'm looking for is, or should be rather, synonymous with the psychological defect known as schizophrenic tendency disorder. Because that is what I believe the union president of the TUC suffers from. One simple Google search of his name will prove that the man doesn't have a single linear thought in his mind with regards to this administration. And I'm wondering whether or not it's time to take this market donkey into the pasture and just shoot it. It might be time to just put this market donkey to rest. He's done a lot of work and he might be tired. We're going to talk about that when I get back. I'm Levan Miller. Welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you for staying with us through the break. I'm Levan Miller. We're on Freedom March, and I'm here with the spiritual advisor, Bradley Rose. Spiritual advisor, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good to be here, Levan.
Good to have you. Before we do anything, I want to do this. I want to make sure we on TV? Good. This is a gift from Peter Ramsey for the family of Rodney Munkar. It is a full pictorial diary, a full pictorial glossary, a full pictorial Rolodex, if you will, of the memorial service and funeral services for Rodney Munkar. He says he doesn't know a single other person in the family, but he thought that he could, that would be his one final thing to do for Rodney while he was on earth. And so I want to make sure publicly, nobody could ask me for this. You'll see I give it to the spiritual advisor. I give it to you because he wanted to make sure that they have it.
Okay.
And so now you have carriage of it.
Yeah, so I'll take it to his wife.
Yes, all of his final moments on earth caught by Peter Ramsey, photographer.
It's on a drive.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah?
All right.
Good.
Great.
So, what does Holy Scripture have for us today, spiritual advisor?
Before we start, we want to correct something. Mm-hmm. And of course, this is the station where we strictly use the Red Bible.
Okay.
Now, when we say Red Bible, we're not talking red as in Levan Miller's F&M red shirt.
This shade is not a red shade.
That's how it looked on TV.
I thought y'all was throwing away all of the red shades. Didn't y'all throw away all red shades?
No, but we understand that they're going to collect them and put them back on.
But we can't even find
this election is not going to be a walk in the park, I can tell you that.
That's right. They even ain't have to walk if they keep this foolishness up.
It does seem as if
all they keep doing is stoking Obi Ferguson so he could get up and
who's stoking him? Who's stoking him?
It would have to be the FNM. Who else could be stoking him?
No, sir.
How is it?
No,
you,
sir.
You go to Holy Scripture before I start
yeah.
Or because
let's start.
Because what does the Bible say about a man that is doubly minded?
Unstable in all his ways. Listen.
and these things take a simple Google search. You know, if you simply Google search Obi Ferguson's name, what you will easily find, comfortably, is that you cannot find a singular linear set of thoughts coming from the mouth or the mind of Obi.
The man.
Then Obi, do you want me to play the part of the tape where Obi Ferguson say he ain't say they ain't do nothing?
Okay,
They've done things, but Obi asking for things that I don't even think is the government business.
Let's do this first.
Okay.
We want to make sure you understand that right here on Freedom March, we give you the facts. Mm-hmm. I give you the facts. Because I have a red Bible.
Hold on,
no. I'm just discussing the red Bible.
Readers give you the facts. You have to say, readers give you the facts.
Okay, we give you the facts.
Okay, good.
Now, we want you to double check these facts and make sure they line up. Mm-hmm. So whenever I tell you to go to your red Bible and check the fact that I may have said, I'm not talking about the color red. Producer, we need to correct that. We're not talking about an R-E-D Bible as in color. We're talking about an R-E-A-D Bible as in something you have to do. It's an action word. Mm-hmm. You have to read your Bible, because if you don't read it, then you won't see the facts that we show you here on Freedom March. So today we're going to go to Matthew chapter 7, 1 through 6, 5, is it? And we're going to look at judging people and what Jesus has to say about judging others. Okay? Matthew chapter 7, 1 through 6. I'm reading this from what is called the New International Version, and it's a translation that has a pretty much clear translation where you can easily understand words, unlike the King James that has an old 1611 translation. So this wherefore thou shouldest, wouldest, and comest and all that, you won't find that in this translation. It's a modern English one. And it is, of course, a Bible that you can read. It is a red Bible, R-E-A-D. Jesus says, do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. So why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye? Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? Producer? Let's see, what else does Jesus say? How can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, when all the time there's a plank in your own eye? It's like, there you go. You hypocrite. First, take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Verse number 6. Do not give dogs what is sacred, and do not throw your pearls to pigs. If you do, they may trample them under their feet and turn and tear you into pieces. Matthew chapter 7, 1-6. I read from the NIV. The word of God is extremely powerful and blessed. Amen. Thank you, producer. Back to you.
And so the Bible say that you have to make sure you judge yourself first before you judge
Yeah. You know, you gotta, don't be a hypocrite. You're trying to sweep the other man door.
I don't know, but
And your door dirty.
sometimes I could see my neighbor. I can't see what on my face. The reason I could tell my neighbor his face dirty is because I could see his face.
But then what you need to do is you need to go in the mirror and take a look first.
Okay. And talk to the man.
And then, don't forget now, this world will always be a better place if we
start with the man.
Start with the man
Michael Jackson.
in the mirror.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful statement indeed.
Yeah. Well, spiritual advisor, out and about New Providence today, there is a hissy fit of sorts going on in and around the labor movement with a TUC president that at this point, I think the best word to describe him in the English language is mercurial. That is if you do not describe him as impulsive. That is if you do not describe his mental capacity as being catatonic at this point. And the reason I say these things is because if you listen to him in 2021, it was we needed to support the government and Kingsley Ferguson was being excessive. If you listen to him in 2022, the Prime Minister isn't delivering. If you listen to him in 2024, yes, they are doing some things, but they aren't doing things to the benefit of the workers. If you listen to him later on in 2024, it is they have signed the memorandums of understandings. They have caused there to become new unions and one other bunch of things, right? But if you listen to him again in 2025, he skipping the Labor Day march because it's too politicized. Hold on. While he kvetches about a memorandum of understanding, watch this. Watch the kick.
When was that signed? In 2021?
2020. Well, 2020.
Just before the PLP
Or
came
2020
into power,
or 2021.
they signed, yeah.
Hey, watch this. Who did he sign an MOU with?
Yeah, probably with the FNMA.
With the PLP, with the DNA, and with independence, according
Okay.
to his own
Okay, so this was like 2020.
recollection of the matter. What do all of those people have in common?
2021, 2020.
Come back this way, Spirit.
I'm trying to figure out which year.
Don't worry about the
they
date.
signed.
It wouldn't matter. His thoughts are all fluid. Don't worry about dates because it doesn't matter where you put him. You will find a different track
Well, but
of
you
thought.
have to go back to
Let's
when.
go
You gotta-
back to the claim. The claim is he ain't attending because it's too political. Yes? That's his now claim.
That's the reason for the boycott.
That's his now claim.
Let's read it then.
Hold on. He signed a memorandum of understanding, according to his recall, with the Progressive Liberal Party, with the DNA, who is defunct, with independents, who all were invited to sign. Yes?
Okay.
What do all of those people have in common?
They broke promises.
They are all,
That's what they all are.
they are all politically motivated. So how did you sign a document with politically motivated people as a union and then say to me that the reason you can't attend is because the parade too political, but you have an MOU signed by a political organization?
But those parades has always been political.
It is duplicitous. The market donkey should simply be taken into the pasture and shot. It is as simple as that. He has run his race. His legs are tired. It is time for Obi to take the knee. It is as simple as that.
It's time for him to go.
It is time. Okay.
Or to give in. You say take the knee.
Yeah. The memorandum of understanding was signed by the TUC, correct?
So what were the details?
Wasn't it also signed by the NCTUB?
Yeah, but what were the details?
Hold on,
He may
man.
have an argument, you never know.
Was the argument signed by the TUC?
The Teachers
Yes.
Credit Union? Okay.
The who? No.
The TUC.
Trade Union Congress.
Okay.
Right? Wasn't it also signed by the NCTUB? The National Congress of Trade Unions of the Bahamas or something like that? Yes. Isn't that Mr. Woods' union? So, if Mr. TUC saying it too politicized, then how come the NCTUB ain't have nothing to say? It's the same memorandum. Or we forget this stuff. Here's a better question. Right? Whose union does the Bahamas Electrical Managers come under?
They fall under?
The TUC. Whose union does the Bahamas Electrical Managers Union fall under?
So Obi is in.
The TUC. Hold on. We have the picture of the union president, the one with the prime minister and the minister and the other guy. We have that. Hold on, I got it. Right? So you claim that your members are so you're all voicing at the seam with anger for the Progressive Liberal Party and their handling of unions.
Yes.
Do you know who else comes under that union? Would you like me to play the Jeopardy music? The Junior Doctors Physicians Alliance, the ones that was in the news 2 weeks ago rolling over.
Yeah.
Do you know why they're not rolling over in the news anymore? Because their industrial agreement was just signed.
So they were satisfied then.
So
now what is his beef?
I could tell you. Let me tell you. And this is the gospel according to Levin. You all ready? One of the agreements in the TUC, NCTU, I need to cut these names down. One of the agreements is for them to renew the House of Labor. Okay. See, I get very wary of old men that try to build legacy late, Obi. And ain't nobody tell me this Levin. I wake up with a burning in my spirit for this today. It sounds to me like the leader of the TUC has realized that he's worked his whole life and is now looking for self-glorification and self-aggrandizement. Because if you renovate the what their thing name, the Waker's house, whatever it name up there, guess what he can say next? Well, it renovate under me, you all should name it after me. Because let's not forget, he also became, hold on man, he also became a QC or a KC since the government took office in 2021 after 1,000,000 years of being a lawyer.
But he said he didn't ask for it.
He also didn't say no. You remember they wanted to make 80?
Don't make no big deal over that. Let's go back to the original argument.
The original argument is that he believed the parade is too political. Yet he, in his wisdom, signed a memorandum of understanding with a political organization.
Yeah, okay.
So when was it not political, Obi? When did you have the epiphany that this was politics?
It's always been that way.
It's disingenuous. I believe that, I cannot say, because I'm not a doctor of psychology, I'm not a doctor of psychotherapy, but what I will say is, if I had to English
there's nothing wrong with him mentally.
There's
nothing wrong with him mentally, no. So
I don't share that view.
Don't go there.
I don't share that view, and I will tell you this, and I do not share that view. And I will tell you this, and I've said this before, I will say it again. One of the things I do not think we take sufficient credit or a review of in this town is in a country where 60%, what the number is, where 60 or 67% of the country suffers from chronic non-communicable diseases, right? And are medicated, right? I do not think we factor in the side effects of a medicated population. And I can tell you, as the grandchild of a cancer patient, as the grandchild of a diabetic patient, and as the grandchild of a hypertensive patient who had chronic each one of them things, that every now and again the medication is making your mind a little fuzzy. And I'm not saying that Mr. Ferguson has any of those things. I'm just saying that at his age, with the amount of time that he spent in his field, it is possible that if he falls in line with the normal physical and dietary trajectory of the Bahamas, it could very well be a possibility. And if he's by any chance on any one of those medications, just check the side effects. They just make you delusional. And I believe that Obi is a delusional person.
Oh, wow.
Show me the picture with the minister and the prime minister and the leader of the union. This look like a man who unhappy to you?
Which person?
The fella in the BPL shake. He is he is the president of the, what are the union name? Whatever their name is. BEC Union. He looks sad.
That's the
So who's sad in this union?
the electrical union, eh? Is it?
Yeah, who's sad in the union?
Well, we don't know the circumstances around this photo. They may have just
Man, these people
cracked
is
the
be
joke.
ready to fight in the road.
Yeah, they
All I asking is who sad in this union. This is a recent picture. This picture was this year. So when were they sad? The Physicians Alliance just signed their agreement that I understand was being held up on their end because they couldn't get the issue of overtime paid. So how could they be sad if they just get their union thing signed?
anyhow. So Obi, these fellas cursing you out now.
It is
right?
time
So,
to take the market
gonna get to
donkey
that.
into the pasture and shoot it.
well, you don't want to do that.
What you going to let him suffer in the public like this and continue to just make asinine statement after asinine statement after asinine statement and you support it? We have some clips from this president of the TUC, and you cannot track his temperament.
All right. So
And for full and frank public disclosure, Pia Glover happens to be one of my favorite people, and we enjoy a wonderful relationship, and I think she's a wonderful person. So there's no need for you to make a flyer with my face on it to say that we share a wonderful relationship. Yes, we do. Now that I have disclosed that, because the only bad side to having interest is to have your interest undisclosed. So my interest is no longer undisclosed. What I am prepared to say is that if I were a member of a union, I would stop paying my dues tomorrow. Because this president appears to be mercurial in his demeanor. And there's no way I could follow that.
so how do you get him to step down?
Make him step down. Move a vote of no confidence. Stop paying your dues. They ain't gonna do the work for free. Go to a court. I don't care what you have to do. I ain't finished yet. I got plenty more on the next side of the break because Obi has to take the knee. What does he want? There has been mass promotions across the public service. What could Obi possibly want? Anyway, we'll talk about more of that on the next side of the break. If I was a member of the TUC, they couldn't get 50 cents out of me because I couldn't support this. We'll talk about that more when we get back. I'm Levan Miller. We'll see you on the next side of the break.
This segment of Freedom March is brought to you by Modernistic Garden and Pet Supply. For top quality dog food, shop online at modernisticgarden.com or visit our Palmdale, Carmichael, and Mullet Marathon locations today.
Welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you for staying with us through the break. We're on 103.5 FM, the beat, 224-112. That's Cable and Flow. And of course on ILTV Studios. Spiritual?
Are your dogs hungry and tired of low-quality food? Give them the best at Modernistic. We carry all the top brands. Taste the Wild, Diamond, Naturals, Victor, and Shook at the lowest prices in town. If you're on a budget, we've got 50-pound bags starting at just $49. And for limited time, buy any large bag of dog food and get a $10 coupon redeemable on select dog toys and treats. And if you can't make it, then shop online at www.modernisticgarden.com and we'll deliver right to your door. Your pet deserves quality. Your wallet deserves savings. Shop in store or shop online today. Hurry, offer won't last.
Thank you very much, Spiritual. So, Spiritual Advisor, let me tell you what I have in hand. I have the Memorandum of Understanding in my hand. It's 6 pages long, right?
What's the date on it?
I don't know. A date. Let's see. Someday in 2021, August of 2021.
Okay. Who's the government at the time?
The Free National Movement.
Okay.
All right? Whereas the Commonwealth of the Bahamas Trade Union Congress, that's the CBTUC, the National Congress of Trade Unions of the Bahamas, the NCTUB, and the Progressive Liberal Party, hereinafter collectively the parties, are desirous of expressing a set of common goals in pursuance of equity and upliftment of the working men and women of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The parties have determined that it is in the best interest to express those common goals in a document of public record. The parties agree that these goals and objectives are binding in honor, and we will use our best efforts to ensure that the goals and the objectives hereinafter expressed become the public policy of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and, where necessary, part of the laws and regulations of the said Commonwealth. The parties recognize and accept that the participation of workers and their designated representatives through trade unions are essential to the democratic and economic processes. The parties acknowledge the historic role that trade unions have played in the democracy of our Bahamas and the creation of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and that this role supported the political struggle in which the Progressive Liberal Party played in leading a role. What did it support, Spiritual Advisor?
Read it again.
The parties acknowledge that the historic role that trade unions have played in the democracy of our Bahamas and the creation of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and that this role supported the political struggle in which the Progressive Liberal Party played a leading role.
Okay.
What did it support?
Yeah, political. It's political struggle.
So what was this document in 2021?
Yeah, it's political.
And who the hell wrote the document?
Well, okay. I think we're done with him, man.
No.
Yeah,
I want them to
man.
take this market donkey into the pasture and shoot it, because he obviously has no more knees left. This man is going crazy, I tell you. Ah, boy. Hold on. Now, therefore, we agree to work toward the following. That as a matter of public policy and where possible in statute and in regulations, formal consultations with the parties will occur before the approval processes of the grant of the permissions and concessions to foreign investors. That the Progressive Liberal Party while in government, will use its good offices to ensure that the spirit and the letter of the law regarding industrial agreements in the hotel and tourism sector and any other sector are concluded. That as a matter of fundamental principle, a Progressive Liberal Party in government will declare its unequivocal support for trade unions in the workplace, included automatic agency shop. That the parties will work with the Progressive Liberal Party in government to amend the laws and regulations where necessary and possible to do the following. Redefine wages to include all forms of income, including tips and gratuities. Ensure that foreign employers are unable to walk away from their financial obligations to workers in the case of the demise of their companies or entities, allowing for at least 16 hours of rest between shifts for each employee. Provisions on redundancy pay should be based on years of service. We pledge to raise the cap to 24 months. Review the possibility of amending Section 26(4) of the Employment Act to read, where an employer provides both gratuity and a non-contributory pension, the employee is entitled to redundancy pay, gratuity, and the pension. Review the possibility of amending Section 29 of the Employment Act so that the dismissal would be based on wages instead of basic pay, and remove the cap of 12 years to replace with of service. Section 42 of the Employment Act, where am I? Should be amended to make agency shop automatic upon recognition as the sole bargaining agent. Section 46 and 47 of the Employment Act to include notice pay in the case of unfair dismissal. 3. The parties agree to amend the law and regulations to strengthen the role of conciliators and enable the ruling of the Industrial Tribunal to be enforced without delay. The parties agree that as a matter of policy, the heads of registered trade unions and their secretary generals or designates should be justices of the peace. The parties agree to, I understand that that's also happened already. The parties agree to work toward a Cultural Heritage, Art, Entertainment Encouragement Act, as well as a National Pension Act. The parties agree to work to carry out the provisions of the National Development Plan. The parties agree to work toward the passage of a National Redundancy Fund Act. The parties agree to ensure that the National Health Insurance is fully implemented for all citizens and residents of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, including hospitalization and catastrophic care. Now, I'll give him that one. They dropping the ball on that a little bit. We trying, right? But you all changed the plan. We could have just take the 1.5% tax when Minister was the Prime Minister, and by now you all would have had catastrophic care for end-stage kidney disease and colorectal cancer and what else? Ovarian cancer and something else was on there. But you all say no tax. So now all you'll end up with is 1.5% increase in NIB, and you'll get nothing, right? Sometimes you just cry too much for something and you get nothing. The parties agree to work toward the enactment of a livable wage. The government has increased the minimum wage since coming to office. That's me saying that. The parties agree that the legislation, where needed, ought to be acted along with regulations to strengthen the National Tripartite Council, including control of its own financial affairs and budget. The parties agree that the PLP and government will supply each umbrella union a parcel of land for the building of their national headquarters. The parties agreed to work towards the enactment of a Comprehensive Consumer Protection Act. The parties agree that they will work to find ways to strengthen the financial sustainability of trade unions, including their ability to enter into international support agreement. The parties agree to work on the reformation of the Public Service Commission rules to ensure more timely processing of employee application and promotions. The party agrees, and they've also done that.
So we get it.
No, we got one more page.
What is the government doing to make good?
The document.
Yeah, so what is the government doing to make good on those promises?
Hold on, let's finish. Let's find out what he said the government ain't doing. All I'm saying is that this document was a political document from the start. So if you claim that you are boycotting because it's too political, then your claim is moot.
No. So what does he mean by that? Because apparently it seems that some folks are suggesting that the government may be using Labor Day to launch its campaign. Now that's when it becomes dangerous.
The government is using Labor Day to launch its campaign. How?
Yeah, it's like a march for the PLP, basically.
The PLP always attends the march.
Yeah. Well, anyhow. So we need to find out
It's one more page. Let's get through the last page. The parties agree to designate the House of Labor an historical landmark, and the PLP and government pledges to provide funding for the restoration and the maintenance of the building. The parties pledge to ensure the provision of the Health and Safety at Work Act are fully implemented and enforced. The parties agree that they will work together to strengthen the present Public Defender's Office to work towards a comprehensive system of legal aid. The parties agree that the present practice of carrying labor representatives to international meetings will be continued. That is also happening. The parties agree, a matter of fact, too much if you ask me. The parties agree to support the TUC, the trade union education, including supporting tuition at trade union education institutions. The parties agree that all pension boards and private major health committees shall have equal representation between the employee and the employers. And I don't know if that's something that you could mandate in law. I don't know if somebody could tell Bradley Rule and Associates that he has to have union representatives on his private board. I don't know if the government could do that. The parties agree that the PLP will support the labor movement to become the next government of the Bahamas, signed and delivered blank day of August 2021. So at what point was this not a political document? And when asked in 2023, what did he think about the Progressive Liberal Party's handling of the Memorandum of Understanding? Here is what their president had to say. Take us to the clip.
We have complied with aspects of that Memorandum of Understanding, particularly the industrial agreements. Most of the industrial agreements they have completed. They have completed most of them. But the deficiency, the disrespect comes in honoring and complying and living up to the agreement. For an example, we agreed that the House of Labor is supposed to have been renovated for 50th anniversary. That is a part of it. We agreed to a living wage. Right? These are things we agreed to. We agreed to every union where there's a pension, the union officers should be equally on that board, whatever board that is. These are.
Oh, he himself says, we agree that they have done almost all of the industrial agreements. Do you know who
Except for the
industrial
one with the
agreements?
12 years. They removed that yet.
Do you know who industrial agreements affect? Workers. But yet he says that the benefits that are being received aren't for workers. And my question to him is, how does he justify that claim? He says that the parade is becoming too political or that Labor Day is becoming too political, when his Memorandum of Understanding says in its literature that it is a political Memorandum of Understanding. And I told you the man is temperamental and mercurial at best. And when asked in October of 2023, he said, the Trade Union Congress President Obie Ferguson said yesterday that the Bahamas Public Service Union President Kingsley Smith was not justified in his criticism of the Davis administration's handling of labor relations. The government is attending to the issues affecting the unions, he said during a press conference. There is a willingness to negotiate with the unions and come to a reasonable agreement. Kingsley Ferguson told reporters on Monday that despite the Progressive Liberal Party's signing of a Memorandum of Understanding with several unions prior to September 2021 election, it has not honored its promise in the months since its victory. But Ferguson said the BPSU was not a party to the MOU and therefore ought not feel entitled to the pledge laid out in it. He took the position that he did not support the MOU, Ferguson said. When we signed the document, if you remember, they said they didn't even know what was on the document or in it. They opposed the document. So if you oppose it and you don't share in it, if you're not a part of something, it's very difficult to say you're entitled to something. Ferguson added, and they mean Obie, all parties were invited to participate. They chose not to. So that's their business. I know what our business was. You for me, and I for you. This government, the Davis administration, has decided to work with the union and try to resolve things in an amicable way and in a reasonable way. The PLP signed an MOU with the TUC and the NCTU ahead of the election, pledging to address key labor issues if elected to government. Under the MOU, the parties agreed that the PLP would be supported by the labor movements to become the next government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The parties have also agreed to work with the PLP in government to amend the law and regulations where necessary and possible to implement national health insurance, work towards the enactment of a livable wage, redefine wages to include all forms of income, including tips and gratuities, ensure that foreign employees are unable to walk away from their financial obligations to workers in the case of the demise of their companies, entities, allow for at least 16 hours of rest between shifts for each employee, strengthen the role of conciliators, and enable the rulings of the Industrial Tribunal to be enforced without delay. Under the MOU, the PLP also agreed to supply each umbrella union with a parcel of land for the building of a national headquarters. Ferguson said yesterday that he believes the government has been working with unions as promised. I can speak for the affiliates of the TUC unequivocally and unconditionally because I know what's happening there, he said. We signed an agreement the government is honoring the agreement, and we are honoring our part, and we are keeping the government to be aware of the fact that these things must be completed. That's the reason we did it publicly, and we didn't go to no political office to do it. And once we take a public position, we are not against the government or whatever. If you ain't for me, I'm not for you. It's as simple as that. You don't need to work out mathematic formulas for that. If you support me, I can support you. If you don't support me, I will not support you. So if we sign an agreement and you denounce that agreement and say you don't want, you don't know what's in it, how can you go in the public and say to the public that ain't nothing happening? You can do it, but you can't do it in terms of the agreement. Ferguson continued. They are doing a reasonably good job after what, 7 months, you're talking about 4.5 years, we can have a meeting, and I'm here to make some announcement that we have made some improvements. So my question is, when is someone going to give this market donkey his last feed of hay, walk him into the pasture, put the children in the barn house, and put this donkey to sleep? Because he's exhausted his useful shelf life in the union, if you ask my opinion, and I cannot seem to find what is his clear trend of thought. And he actually has attacked other members of other unions that have attacked the Progressive Liberal Party. So when did he decide that the Progressive Liberal Party just wasn't doing enough? We have another clip from Obie Ferguson. Play the next clip, please.
You should call the Queen and the Prime Minister and them to tell you how I became QC. I never asked nobody for no QC. They said I got it on the basis of my performance. So I don't know, maybe Belinda and that crew, they may have a little problem with certain issues. But maybe she should check her academic qualification as president of BUT. Maybe she should check about. I'm not complaining. The cases that I represent, most of the workers cannot afford it. And I'm the active lawyer in the Bahamas, madam, with the greatest of respect, trying to.
And so that is Obie Ferguson saying that he don't know what Belinda them problem is. He happy? Belinda them have a problem? Well, when did that happen? So how do I track this union leader? And here's what's funny. There are only several people named on the Memorandum of Understanding, Spiritual Advisor. You want me to tell you who all named on the Memorandum of Understanding?
No, I mean, I'm not really, let's move on, man.
Move on to what?
Let's leave that alone. I think you made your point.
You might as well tell the Whisperer, I ain't listening to him. I want them to carry this market donkey into the pasture and shoot it.
No, but you cannot be subtly inciting violence, though.
How am I inciting any violence? It is time for Obie Ferguson to take the knee.
Well, say that. But you can't say take the market donkey and shoot
Metaphorically, you never do a metaphor in school?
Nah, not like that. That sends a different message when you do it that way, you know?
What was the message?
It seems just subtly you're suggesting violence, and you can't do that, you know.
Anybody who feels subtle violence suggestion, raise your hand.
Plenty of people.
Only you one thing.
No, I get about 15 texts where they say.
I tell you, stop listening to these people.
Violence.
Stop listening to them. They
you can say, listen, we want Obie to resign.
No,
fine.
No one is resigning around here. Tell us, prove that to us.
Yeah.
People don't resign in the Bahamas. Only me one. So I ain't looking for no resignation. I want the members of that union to protest his presidency. That is what I want. And whether it's through a court or through some other civil disobedience, it is time to put this market donkey to sleep. It's as simple as that. How is that any subtle suggestion of any violence? What do you do to the old white horse?
You say shoot the donkey.
That's what you do to the donkey. When the donkey has gone to market too many times, what you do to the donkey? You don't let it sit there and suffer. And on the Memorandum of Understanding, Obie Ferguson's name there, but chief among the names that are there is Philip Edward Davis. And when asked by the reporters, you know, well, Philip, tell us what's going on with Obie. Here's what Philip Davis had to say about it. Producer?
Thank God Well, I'm still trying to understand the what motivated the action. Thank God the impact that I thought it would have wasn't there. Basically, the hospital was the one that was impacted, and that disappoints me because here we're talking with professionals, doctors, who have not only a duty to the employees, that's the government, and yes, if there are issues with the government, they have the right to take industrial action. But in the context of their duty to their patients, the oath that they took their patients, I think, is where the disappointment comes into for me. It seemed that they had little regard for what happened to their patients. But overall, the union have, under the TEC umbrella, they thought they did what they ought to do, that they wanted to do. I'm disappointed by it because we were talking. And my doors have always been open to talking. And we'll see where it ends.
Have you heard from them since? Have you spoken with?
No, I tried to reach Mr. Ferguson before it happened, and I sent him an email as well, and I'm still waiting to hear back from him.
And he didn't come to the meeting that was scheduled?
No, he did not come, and what I understand from my office was that when they called him on the Monday to determine which of the units he were going to bring to the meeting, he indicated that he couldn't make it because he was in court. That's what my office told me.
One last question, Prime Minister.
And so, one of the most pronounced people on the MOU that Obi is kicking and screaming and rolling over, hollering about, say he don't even know what Obi problem is. He said, when I call, I invite Obi to a meeting, Obi ain't attend. Next thing I know, Obi tell the people, don't go to work. The doctors them ain't been to work, right? This was 2024. In 2021, though, here is Obi Ferguson's words. The new Davis administration has already started to put money where their mouths are. As it relates to the labor relations, Trade Union Congress President Obi Ferguson said yesterday, as he expressed optimism for better worker conditions in the years to come under the newly elected Progressive Liberal Party government. Mr. Ferguson said he saw recent meetings with medical workers and officials holding up their end of the bargain. He said this was laughable as the government changed only 2 weeks ago. We are very optimistic because obviously the two doctor unions, Dr. Sabrika Pinder and Dr. Please help me, is this Melisande Bassett? And the Bahamas Nurses Union President, Amansha Williams. How come all these people in the medical profession have such difficult names? Amansha Williams are critical for our movement. They are a part of the Trade Union Congress, and the government has gone on record by indicating that they will deal with them and deal with them immediately. And can I tell you, the last industrial agreement signed by this government about a week ago, guess who it was for, spiritual advisor?
I told you let's leave the subject, man. I mean, you made your point on it. I mean, how long you can beat this one
The whole
subject,
show,
man?
I devoted this to Obi because I want
I don't have nothing to say.
I want you to find me the scripture to tell me about a doubly-minded man. Obi Shekazine.
I can just leave this.
Obi
alone.
Shekazine.
Texas, you all want to curse this man out?
Please. Obi Shekazine.
Listen, Miller.
Now Obi comes and says, play the one where it say, Obi say the parade political. This man, if I were a PhD, I would simply diagnose him with schizophrenic tendency disorder and disregard everything he say from this point forward.
Some things they've done, but we're not the beneficiary, meaning the workers. Yes, they've done some things. We have said it over. I don't know why they take the view that we said they haven't done anything. That wouldn't be correct. We have unions. The government allow unions to be registered. The union in Grand Bahama, for an example, I know for a fact the teachers' union there, they had to 700 members. So that could not happen, or didn't happen before, but it happened with the effort of the Prime Minister.
Obi, see behind my voice? That's Obi voice. Obi say, they've done things. These things couldn't happen without the government. They got 700 members in one union in Grand Bahama. That couldn't happen unless the government had actually put the legislation in place or whatever the framework is in order for those unions to become unions. Notwithstanding that, Obi still say he ain't going to Labor Day, the last one before election, because I tell you election will be May 5th, 2026, right? He ain't going. Why? Because the parade too political, when he is the one that created a political document or a document to solidify the politics of the union's participation, man. It is time to walk the market donkey down the hill, take him into the pasture, put the children in the barnyard, tie the donkey to the tree, and say, donkey, you've done well. No other donkey ever told melons from the market like you in all of the donkey toting history. But donkey, before we watch you turn into an ass, we've got to shoot you at the tree. And that's what must happen to Obi. We've got to tie the market donkey in the pasture and shoot it. It's that simple. Welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you for staying with us. I believe it will. You're listening to us on 103.5 FM, The Beat. Or on 224 on 112. I'm not saying that for you that are already listening to me. I'm saying that so you could go call your friends. Tell your friends like I send it before I get in the day. That's what I do in the day. So call all the union people, the TUC, the NCTUB, what the other B them name. All them B's. You call them and you tell them, I think it's time for Obi to go home. That's what I think. But we got some birthdays, so I can take a brief intermission for birthdays. And then it's Obi time. Spiritual?
All right, here we got a couple birthdays to shout out. Tito Moss. No, sorry. Brandon Higgs is on top of the list. Brandon Higgs is celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to our son, Brandon Higgs, coming from his parents, Brian and Paula, his brother. This is an Agnes Church family, all of his family and friends. Happy birthday to Brandon Higgs. Also from your grandmother as well. All right. Then we understand Nancy DeVoe, I understand. They're celebrating the birthday. Happy birthday goes to Nancy, coming from all your family and friends, your daughter, of course, your brothers and sisters, all those who love you. Happy birthday to Nancy. Nancy, we hope you have a great birthday, and of course, you live to enjoy many, many more. Okay, Tito Moss, happy 50th birthday to Tito Omar Moss. It's coming from your wife, Nikiva, your children, Megan, Morgan, and Madison, siblings Ricardo and Katie. Have a blessed day. Happy birthday to Tito Moss. Happy 50th birthday to Tito Omar Moss. Nika Spence, send a fabulous happy birthday to our friend Nika Colleen Spence from Nurse Gibbs, Nurse Demerit, and Nurse Akins. God bless you and enjoy your special day. Rochelle Roma, celebrating a happy birthday. It's coming from your daughter, Mika Byrne, your grandsons, TJ and DJ, your mother, Paula Roma, and also your siblings. So happy birthday to Rochelle Roma. Lorraine Rackley, happy birthday, Lorraine Rackley. Enjoy your day. All the best to you from everyone who loves you, okay? Happy birthday, Lorraine Rackley. Ina Rule is celebrating her birthday today. Happy 76th birthday to Ina Rule. Celebrated on Sunday. She celebrated her birthday on Saturday past. Sorry about that. Greetings coming from her children, Ken Omar Stubbs and Meredith Stubbs Enfield. Grandchildren, family members, and friends in Bermuda and Freeport. They love you, mommy. Happy birthday, Ina Rule. A special shout out to Lanique Roll. Congratulations to my daughter Lanique Roll for graduating from UB in nursing. It's coming from parents, woman ASP Taylor Bain, and retired Sergeant 1910 Lyndon Lex Roll. Her son Cloud, her grandparents, her uncles, and aunts, cousins, family, and friends, they love you and continue to do well. So congratulations to Lanique Roll. Look like that's it.
Is that it?
Yep, that's it for the day.
Okay. You sure?
Yeah, I think so.
Good stuff.
That's it, producer. That's
Yeah.
what I sent the list.
I don't have none for nobody.
Yeah.
So if you're graduating from COB and I didn't know you was graduating, but you feel like I should have known, and you ain't tell me, well, congratulations on your graduation. You could universally consider this a congratulations to you, because chances are I probably don't know anyhow. All right, so here's the news clip. What was this from? Yesterday? Of the claims made by the TUC's president, Obi Ferguson.
Also, is politics taking over the labor movement? Well, National Congress of Trade Union Bahamas president Obi Ferguson seems to think so, and he's not holding back on this stance. Ferguson is now threatening to boycott this year's Labor Day parade, accusing the Davis administration of turning its back on the working class. Now, in a fiery rebuke, Ferguson says the government has failed to deliver on promises laid out in a memorandum of understanding signed when the Davis-led PLP was still in opposition. The union says workers feel abandoned. A trade union is ready to take a stand.
They know if I lie, and they know if politicians lie. First, the minister said 97% of what's on the MOU has been completed. Well, you can complete some of the most important people in the country to look after my wealth, my health, and your health. You're fighting for over 4 years to give them a basic contract. And we say we are interested in Bahamians? And what are we doing for Bahamians? What are you doing for Bahamians? You're not providing them with a sensible salary. You're not providing them with a health and care. Affiliates will not be a part of no march. What you marching for? You gotta fight to get what you gotta. You talking about march? We're gonna celebrate Surrender Folks Labor Day. We're gonna celebrate it right down on Wolf Road. In that dilapidated building. We're gonna go right there.
I don't even think that was a coherent thought. It wasn't coherent, it wasn't cogent. I really couldn't even tell you what his issue was. It sounded...
Hold on now. What do you mean by it was incoherent? The man
said that
there are some things in the MOU that
completed.
Yeah, but
he said, well, when are you gonna finish on behalf of the people? And he talk about March. He's starting to sound like my granddaddy. I said this is exactly the way my granddaddy is. My granddaddy is 99 years old, and I told you this before. Every now and again, my granddaddy say he want everybody out of his house. He want to live by himself. But everyone with a good, sensible mind know that a 99-year-old man cannot live alone. So when he says that, you have to not be offended. You have to just let him say that. And then come right back an hour later and come live with him because he can't live alone. And this is exactly what I feel about this O.B. Ferguson thing. And you already say we could be right by the dilapidated building. But and that's your building? How y'all let your building become dilapidated? You know who just paint my house? Me. And this the house of Labor? Why Labor don't paint it? Why is Labor building dilapidated and y'all just collect dues and funds and all that other foolishness? What is his real problem, Bradley? Because he obviously can't seem to communicate it.
I'm out this conversation, man.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm out this.
When I need some spiritual advice, I'll come check
Yeah.
Let's see what the minister's response was to the president. I tell you, I want y'all to take this market donkey into the pasture, boy. Pierre Gloverall responded today by saying this. What's that? The last clip. Well, not the whole thing, but let's see. Let's see what she had to say. I'll let you know when to stop it.
Good day, Bahamas. The decision by the Trade Union Congress to withdraw from the Labor Day parade and the narrative they've chosen to build around it is disappointing, misleading, and not reflective of the truth that workers in this country deserve. When misinformation is presented as truth, especially by those entrusted to represent working people, we must respond with the facts. So here are the facts. The Davis administration has prioritized labor issues from day one, because we believe in the dignity of work and the rights of working people. We've signed over 55 industrial agreements, which is more than any administration in recent history, delivering salary increases and improved benefits for tens of thousands of workers. Many of the agreements we've signed represent reignited negotiations that were long abandoned until the Davis administration came into office. We increased the national minimum wage, not because we were pressured to, but because it was the right thing to do. We launched the first public service salary review in over a decade and rolled out the first public service-wide promotional exercise in over 8 years. We've achieved a lot in 3.5 years, making more progress on many important labor issues during this term than has been seen across successive administrations. So when the leadership of the TUC suggests that this administration is failing workers, I must ask, where was this level of outrage when significantly less was being done in years prior? The truth is, the majority of what the TUC is demanding is already happening, and they know it. They know it because they've been present in the room. They've helped shape the labor legislative reform that's being finalized right now. In fact, the entire reform process, which was launched in July 2024, is built on their own recommendations. They sat at the table, they gave input, they attended our symposium just last week and said they were pleased with the draft. So what has changed between today and last week? We've been working through the Memorandum of Understanding, line by line, issue by issue. Some of their requests have been expedited. However, there are practical issues hindering the fulfillment of some of the changes they are pushing for. For example, another request made by the TUC is for the government to unionize private employers like Bahama and Grand Lucayan. But unionization is not something governments can impose on organizations. The workers themselves must choose to unionize. Furthermore, Grand Lucayan was not even operational when purchased. However, the government was footing the entire payroll, and now that it's been sold, we're facilitating severance. This administration has taken action to correct the poor decisions made by our predecessors, and we will welcome the decision by workers at the resort to unionize should they see fit to do so. The TUC has demanded automatic agency shop. This is being discussed, but it hasn't been agreed to by stakeholders. This is not a solely government decision. These kind of decisions are a part of the tripartite process and must be made with the support of employers, unions, and government stakeholders. Several other demands, such as redefining wages, strengthening redundancy pay, requiring minimum rest periods, amending sections 26, 42, 46, and 47 of the Employment Act, and empowering conciliators are being addressed as part of our legislative reform process. We met with the TUC and other tripartite stakeholders on these topics last week with very positive feedback received throughout our discussions. Objectively speaking, there's no denying we've made substantial progress on our labor agenda. This has been acknowledged by all major stakeholder groups, including the TUC. The facts pointing toward our progress speak for themselves. The last 5 industrial agreements signed in 2025 are all TUC affiliate agreements. These affiliates have signed agreements indicating alignment with the government on major issues impacting their members. Is that not indicative of progress? Regarding the MOU, some matters have been resolved already. For example, the call for heads of unions and secretary generals to be justices of the peace, the strengthening of the Public Defender's Office, the creation of comprehensive system of legal aid, the participation of union representatives in international labor events are all being done. Other requests, like support for the National Tripartite Council to manage its budget and the enforcement of the Health and Safety at Work Act, are actively under review or currently being rolled out. Some of the other demands are not under the control of the government. We cannot dictate membership on private pension boards. We cannot control private health facilities. We cannot and will not foot the entire $2 million bill for renovating the privately owned House of Labor. We have committed to assist, but unions collect dues and they must also have skin in the game. We are approaching the renovation as a shared responsibility. In light of the above, and in light of the TUC's withdrawal from the Labor Day parade, we must ask, will the TUC's representatives still travel to Geneva next week on a trip financed through the same government that its president denounced? It should be noted that the representatives' participation is a part of the MOU fulfillment, which the TUC claims is not being fulfilled. If TUC President Obie Ferguson's claims are rooted in principle, we would expect consistency and follow-through. But if this is just noise and grandstanding, the public has a right to know. It is concerning that while misinforming the public on these matters and denouncing the government, one of Mr. Ferguson's selected affiliates, another MOU fulfillment, has a contract with the Ministry of Labor and Public Service. This person's job is to improve labor relations, yet he continues to use his platform to do the opposite. The Progressive Liberal Party has stood beside labor through better and worse since 1962. We support the right of the TUC to protest and have supported such actions before. However, we supported them because their marching was about principle. You don't have to agree with us, but if you intend to walk away from the national parade, from a day that belongs to workers, not parties, then have the decency to come to the negotiating table in good faith and make a decision based on the facts. The Davis administration has kept the door open as a matter of policy. Ultimately, regardless of our views, we must all come together in the name of progress if we truly support the advancement of labor in our nation. This administration will continue to do what it was elected to do, deliver for the Bahamian people. Labor Day is bigger than any union president or any administration. It's about workers. And this year, like every year in and out of government, the PLP will be there marching, not.
So you hear the minister's response. The people then become JPs. We can't make people put you all on their boards because they private. We paying out the severances to the people at the Lucayan Hotel because they ain't had no union, and well, really and truly, governments can't tell people they need unions. We ain't renovating y'all building. I say this, the Gospel of Leaving, so you can name it after you, because that have to be what the rush is for. There's just thing after thing about this that just, I don't know. And so, Obi says in one newscast, Voldemort, the PLP is horrible, terrible party who don't care nothing about workers. But when they asked the man today, and I tell you, if I were a PhD in psychology or psychiatry, I would simply diagnose him with schizophrenia. That's what I would do. But because I'm unlearned and unqualified in the art or the science rather of psychology, I can't. So the only thing I can call him is English words like mercurial and disoriented and disjointed in his mind. Or he appears to be anyway, because he says this.
Why wouldn't if the government carry out what they said they're going to do? That's why I say you for me, I for you. We're not opposed to the brave days. As a matter of fact, I have no difficulty with the Prime Minister. None whatsoever. But there are people who are, for whatever reason, they're trying to create a smoke screen and trying to make it appear as though we are against brave. We signed a document where we want to honor it, but the minister, they have their own little private agenda, doing certain things, and say, oh, he's not with the PLP. Well, I can say that we have a document signed.
Delusion, because the one person that is getting the MOU is signed, making sure that you all become JPs, making sure that the people in Freeport get their severance, making sure that the unions are registered, making sure that the minimum wage is increased. All these things are the same minister that he claims has their own private agenda. Now I finish, Bradley.
Wow.
Anything else?
Callers, listen, I'm sure that there's some other views on this.
Okay.
In particular. Okay, ma'am, what do you mean? Okay, Lady T. Mr. Levan Miller, with all due respect to you, please, sir, can you consider simplifying your language during broadcast?
Which of the language do they not
While I personally have a university education and can follow along, many Bahamians who tune in to your show may find some of your vocabulary to be far too complex and to understand, basically. So using more accessible language would help ensure that the message reaches and resonates with the masses of your audience. For example, infamy and mucrio. Mr. Miller, thank you for your understanding.
I appreciate that critique. I also would like to offer something. Cell phones are for more than gossip and pornography. And
so it's to educate yourself.
Just the way you can find all the porn in the world to watch on your phone, you could go.
I do think that's right for you to respond to that woman now.
I respond to her.
Don't forget, this woman is highly educated, you know. So she didn't see
educated woman don't like porn.
She see you coming around.
Educated woman don't like porn. Is your suggestion?
She see you come around the corner a long time.
Educated woman don't like porn. Is your suggestion to me?
No, we're not talking about. No.
I asked him very basic questions.
Jesus of mercy upon my soul. Let's move on. It is nonsensical to hijack the Labor Day march to launch a PLP campaign, because the workers of the country, the public holiday is to launch no political campaign.
But who said that the PLP was launching a campaign?
It is understood that this is what's going to happen.
So we would have to actually wait until it happened.
Mr. Miller, you don't know or understand the real issues. That's the problem.
So he should state what the real issue is and stop running on about this MOU. Because he looks like a disoriented man. I think I've proven my case aptly. Producer, let's open up the phone lines. Maybe I'm in the deep. And for the lady, I take the advisement. What I will only offer as counter advisement is, People can find anything in these phones they want to. Like, I always laugh when people tell me they don't know how to operate their smartphone, but they could check the numbers every day on the same smartphone. You got to be able to use your phone for more than gossip and porn. It's as simple as that.
Okay, now, a police officer just texts my phone and says to me that he believed that the language you're using about shooting the donkey could be used against you.
Fine, then tell them use it. I have a good lawyer.
He says that apparently Obi Ferguson can walk into the nearest police station and launch a complaint against
Then I invite
you.
him to do that. Then I expect that when I walk out this station, there will be police officers out there in that parking
Yeah, he
lot.
said you cannot use the term shoot the donkey.
I have never one time said...
Because then you have to explain who the donkey is.
And all I'm saying to you is, if he feels that way, all prosecution begins at the point of a complaint. Have counsel, you say he's the KC, right? Have the KC go to the police station, make his complaint, and when I get out of the studio, I suspect police officers will be out there with brass bracelets for me. These things are simple. I have very good confidence in the system, you know. And His Majesty's peace must be kept at all costs. And so if I am disturbing His Majesty's good peace, then I invite His Majesty's peace officers to take me, and as a matter of fact, I want to make a special request. Take me to the Grove Station, because they just lock you up professionally, and I like the way they just lock up over there.
Don't take it that lightly. I would take it serious.
I sound light to you.
Clarice.
Oh boy.
Clarice.
The phone line open?
Clarice, you got to stop now, okay? Please, don't.
We got callers on the line.
We got some callers on the line.
Let's go to the callers. Let's go to the callers and leave these people alone.
Yeah, welcome to Freedom March Call. You're live.
Hello. Good evening. How y'all doing?
Hey, Bob.
Doing well.
All right. Spiritual advisor.
Yes, sir.
Let's agree to disagree. I think I support what Obi Ferguson is saying. I understand and agree with persons like Levon, how he's saying about maybe it's a bigger thing than just this MOU. It's a possibility. Only God and Obi Ferguson know. Or maybe some other people know too. But I think we need to, like I say, I don't agree with everything what Levon's saying. But let's leave space for him to do his thing. Now, I hear you say he won't go to the Grove Station. I don't think we need to carry it that far. Levon is a smart young man, I know. He ain't perfect. He might make a mistake, and he'll learn from his mistakes then. But I know you get more than just spiritual advice, Bradley, and I know you get more to say. But, I mean, until this thing laugh, let's leave him loose. Let him loose. Let him do what he got to do. He's not Rodney Moncutt, but he's good. He might be young. Listen to what he's saying. I mean, you don't have to agree, you know, and I think they're being nasty politically when they talk about making Obi Ferguson Casey. It remind me of Levon saying the other day, they can't belt this damn cat. They can't belt Levon. That's why he's sending his resignation. I salute Obi Ferguson for inspiring him getting Casey and whatsoever might be a chip on his shoulder or what he constipated politically with, what they didn't work out. I salute him for standing up in spite of he gets straight with something to defend his people. Now, it seems like some things then would need to be sorted out. What ain't sorted out, a lot of things might have been sorted out. But like I say, let's leave space for Levon to do his thing until it lasts. I don't agree with everything what he's saying, but I know he's a smart fellow. And I think he should be given the privilege to do just what he come here to do, and you give the spiritual advice. Y'all sound like y'all have a text number, or you using your personal phone for your friend.
That's the phone with that's the phone with the whisperer that's calling on, so we just have to keep that on the show, so when the whisperer call, the spiritual advisor can take his information from the whisperer. Thank you so much, Papa. And I don't mind going to the Grove Station. They just lock you up professionally over there. And if I have to be locked up, because I'm not above the law, if I offend the king's peace, then make me account for it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the next side of the break. Welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. I'm Lee Vanilla. You're listening to 103.5 FM The Beat. Tanya, is she on the line? Tanya, you there?
Good afternoon, Mr. Miller, and good afternoon, spiritual advisor. It's your girl, Tanya, coming to you live from Shop Smart Department Store, your miracle right here on Maki, where we say we're here for you for whatever season of your life and for everyday living. Yes, it's graduation time, and we are saying congratulations to all of the graduates, whether it is from preschool, primary school, junior high, senior high, or from university. Congratulations on a job well done. And yes, to help you celebrate, we have taken 30% off all of our graduation items. 30% off. You can come on in and do your graduation shopping. But we went even further. Mr. Miller, guess what? We have got the graduation balloon packages. We have them in the black and gold and silver, or you can get it in the pink. You can get it in the blue. You can just come in and get an arrangement of balloons if you don't want the whole basket. Yes, we've got the basket packages, and those basket packages start as low as $19.99, or you can get them for $39.99, or as high as you wish to go. Or you can just come on in and put your own basket together, because you know your graduate. Shop Smart is located right here at number 122 Mackey Street, and we're open Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for your shopping convenience. But if you can't come in the store, all you need to do is shop with us 24 hours a day. That is on our website, shopsmart242.com. Yes, you can do all of your ordering right there. You can have it delivered to the boat of your choice, or right here in Nassau to your place of business. You can also give us a call here at 698-1051 or 698-1052. Or reach out to us on our WhatsApp line, our messaging line, 813-4397, 813-4397. Gents, you know I always like to tell you, remember to shop early, to shop often, and to shop smart. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Tanya, spiritual advisor. The wind told me, right? You know, did you feel the wind that passed through?
I can tell you one thing. You know, let me tell you where the PLP will be in trouble. If you see either side, and I never had an interest in politics, because politics is just such a dirty, disgusting thing.
That people are dirty and disgusting.
I don't think Christians should even be involved in politics.
Wow.
But if you see me decide to get into political science and study it the way I study my Bible, I'm sure this conversation would have gone another way.
Wow.
Because you have bright minds like C. Allen Johnson, people like Zhivago Lang, who gives a very balanced and interesting perspective on the political landscape in the country.
Albeit we know
and he's not biased, you know.
Albeit we know that he is a registered Free National Movement member.
But from what I listen to the show from time to time, although me and him part ways on certain biblical things, right? Zhivago Lang gives a very balanced and honest opinion on things. So does Anton Thompson. I can guarantee you, if I speak with Anton and tell him to give me a view on what is happening with this argument that the president is advancing, that they'll probably share different.
Anton Thompson from where?
Anton is more PLP than you.
You mean Anton the photographer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He strikes me as being an honest person. He's an honest. If it's one PLP that is honest, it's Anton.
Only when the PLP in power. When they're in opposition, he's become schizophrenic.
But he's honest.
Only when the PLP is in power.
Well,
he like Ingram.
That's
when they winning, they be very, very balanced.
But
when they losing,
but
not so
see,
much.
what I don't like about certain people who aspire into understanding politics from both sides is you can't just be one-sided when issues arise. You have to look at it holistically and give an honest view on it.
Well, let's look at my... Well, firstly, let me say
But we don't want to hold the callers up too long.
Yeah.
Because they say we talk too much.
But
the line's open.
A talk show.
See, we got 3 people waiting.
Listen, hold on. So here is how you know that I'm in a better position than Zhivago. Because I'm not a PLP. I've declared that publicly a million times. And I wanted to be a FNM, but they wouldn't let me be a FNM. So now I'm an FNA. All right? That's thing number 1. Thing number 2 is I think that I've been very balanced in my critique. When Lisa put the stupid speed bumps through Mini Street, what I do? And I come here and I curse out Lisa. When Ryan Pinder let Pookie them tow people car in Montel Heights and ain't care to no regulated lot, and I curse out Ryan, and he white, and I curse him out. So how do you now say that I curse out Obi Ferguson, that I be impartial and biased?
Let's get some calls.
Oh boy, the spiritual. Anyway, the wind told me
welcome
that as interim leader of the woman them, I happen to also be interim
but
summoner of I happen to be
okay.
interim summoner of the Justice League. So now I cocky. Obi, if you want to lock me up, you try it. You think I got pian lawyer than me? I don't mess around. I got all kind of big time lawyer, and they say 6 minutes. 6 minutes. They'll come and get me. So you go ahead, call whoever you want. I ain't scared. You think I'm scared of you, AOB? Now let's take the phone calls. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
Levan Miller.
Hey.
Spiritual advisor.
Good afternoon.
Listen to me, and I got to be short and brief
yes,
because I know a lot of people are there.
Yeah, because you just dominate the airways. So please
no, but listen to me. Listen to me. I've been trying to hold on from Friday. You all stopped the show with me on Friday. You all stopped the show with me yesterday.
All right, so just go on. Forget about
now,
that.
I'm going to go from Friday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What happened with Rodney Munker's funeral is that you all shouldn't have given out those T-shirts on Thursday. You all should have given them out at the funeral. And everybody who had a T-shirt would have come to the funeral.
We gave them out Friday morning.
You all should have given them out at the funeral.
Okay.
And they can come.
Okay.
Number 2, now, yesterday was my granddaughter's birthday. My only grandchild. And I want to wish her a happy belated birthday from her pa. She only one in the world of pa. Now, I'm a Ferguson. And Mr. Obi is a Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
But he letting the Ferguson clan down.
He might be from Exuma.
Yeah. No, you know Auckland Ferguson.
I can tell you that. I can look at him and see that.
Can't be. But listen to me. If you see the government had gone through and renovated that House of Labor thing for them, this would have been the best government other than Sir Lyndon Bentley to Obi Ferguson.
But why?
He wants something to put his name on.
So flesh and blood had not revealed that to you, caller.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
He trying to upstage Mr. Bastian. And I didn't want to say that, but now
that's what he wants.
Yes, he will make sure that when the Times or the Annals of History are read, he can say, Bastian was the best union man and my name on the building. Not a day like it.
Nobody, and then he wanted them to spend some $2 million.
Yeah.
On, you know what building you could build with $2 million?
We could buy ambulance with it, because spiritual advisors say we need ambulance. Yeah. I'm not listening to Obi.
Now, Mr. Roll, I go almost call you Boston.
Yeah, we don't give you too much minutes.
No, one last time. One last one for you now.
Let's go.
You beaten Dan and torn them. Who Antoine is now confused.
I'm not beating anybody. I was just complimenting them.
No, I'm saying you giving Antoine some
compliment.
And the PLB and the real PLB eyes. Julian Ferguson, that's me, is saying that Antoine is now so confused.
Okay, thank you so much, caller.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. Next caller, please. Welcome to Freedom March. Call you live. Hello, caller, are you there? Let's try another call. Welcome to Freedom March. Call, are you there?
Hello, good afternoon.
You're live.
Hi.
Okay, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, congratulations to my nurse and my doctor out there, and my businessmen, Chantel Evans, Kasha Evans, and T. Rowan Davis. Now, I'm going to get a little bit into this week. Mm-hmm. Okay, now, essay. Just an illustration, donkey and sheep. I don't want no donkey try run down my sheep. Madam is a sheep, pure white. Now, those bunch of F&M leaders what's in the union, they need to go sit down. Some of them need to go retire. That's what caused me drop out of those unions. They are too wicked and crooked, and then go up behind them pulpit and preach. You remember 2016? Back in the days, the PLP always used to march, but we used to use the androsia material or the island dress. Then we went to the shirts. And you know who caused us going to the shirts? The FNM. The first time they win in 2016, I wait for election, I know. They sent out a memo saying all FNMs must meet by Windsor Park in the red shirts. Okay, they come out in their shirts. We bustled in our shirts, but we went to Columbus. When we went up by Windsor Park, we met a couple of them through the corner by Super while you hiding out. Okay, they didn't voice out then. The second year again, three of them showed up. We voice out. They caused us to do that. The FNM said, come out in your red shirt. So the PLP came out in their gold shirt. And guess what? Don't care what they do or say, the PLP coming out there large in them shirts. You know why? Because when they used to give out the union shirts, they used to keep them, cut them up for big dress and things. You couldn't get one. All of that used to make me mad. They cut it up and make big dress. Them big old hot shady, nobody want to wear them no way. They need to go sit down or go behind them pulpit where they preaching. There's a bunch of wicked F&M.
All right.
Them, so
Thank you so much, Carla.
Thank you, Carla.
Take care. Next call, please.
I also want us to march for Rodney on Labor Day, spiritual advisor. So, Brother Jax, give me a call. You and Mr. P.S. Paul Miller. And I think Vasco Bastian and Mr. International and Casey, Wayne Monroe. And who else do you think should come with us?
Everybody.
And we could have a Rodney Monka section, because why not? We got T-shirt already. All we need is someone with a big truck. Someone with a big truck and a speaker I don't have to rent.
Dan. That's Dan. Dan, I can take care of that.
Oh, well, there you have it. Dan, you come. And we could be in the middle. I won't be up close because I want to be the first set of people to finish the march now. You comfortable with that?
Whatever.
All right, good. So that's the plan.
Welcome to Freedom March. Call you live.
Hey.
Go ahead, call you live.
Levan.
Hey.
Man, when you just tone your talks down a little bit, man, you're doing good, but tone it down a little bit from us on our cell phone, you know. Listen, I agree with you 110% when it comes to O.B. Ferguson. See, you get a lot of people calling here for O.B. Ferguson, but they don't know the history of O.B. Ferguson. You see the split in the unions that is happening now with carrying on for years. O.B. Ferguson and Fred Mannings were the orchestrators of that many years ago in the 80s. They caused that split. You understand me? And they did it because of political affiliation. That is why Obi is so upset now that he can't go see Brave. Because Brave is a different PLP. Perry, Finland, and them. That's why Obi mad, very mad. And he used that union. We was calling for him to get fired long time. He used that union to suit his own political purpose.
Yeah.
You hear me? So when people calling and talking about Obi, this and that, they don't know Obi. They do not know Obi. That's why ain't nobody really truly sorry for him. And he needs to step down. And one more thing. I'd like to say hello to Obi Roberts II up there in Canada. Missy Vaughan, I'll be here. And the neighbor here in Nassau. And Brandon Miller, don't take that charge, okay? Do not take that charge in saying certain things.
What
Sometimes I listen. I'm going to talk and keep that on the down.
If I say, no problem. But if I say you should shoot the market donkey.
No,
you can't do that. Because we know who the donkey is.
We're listening to you on the airways, and for more sensible reasons, like Papa said that one, keep them things on the deal, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
My mommy had a dog named Hershey. Hershey was a young cock when we got her. And we watched her grow and grow and grow until she became an old, sickly, tired cock. And I tell my mommy for about 3 years, Mommy, let's put this dog to sleep. And my mommy didn't listen to me. And we woke up one Saturday morning with my children home and Hershey dead on the kitchen floor with all sorts of body fluids pouring out of her and, you know, the signs of life out of her body and the vermins eating her flesh. Is that better or worse? If the market donkey has put in sufficient work.
We get that. We get that. All right. Welcome to Freedom March Call. You're live. Are you there, caller?
Hello.
Hi.
You're live, caller. Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Listen, Levan, I agree that, I understand Hershey's story, but just your tone and in reference to certain words that you use, because people, some people may understand what you're saying, but others can use those same words, and frame that to use that against you. And you're doing such an excellent job on air. I don't want anything to interfere or get in the way of whatever your focus is.
Okay.
Okay, now, but my reasoning for calling, I think the Minister of Labor did an excellent job in her presentation. Okay? I listened to Mr. Ferguson, Mr. Munnings, and I am most disappointed. And the reason why I am so disappointed, I've been hearing, and you all have been hearing, like the lady said earlier, Labor Day, we have to remember where this labor movement came from where we came all the way back. I remember marching as a little girl with my mother and aunts in the Labor Day parade. Okay, what the real reasoning was. It's gotten to the point now where you had labor unions, marching like in competition. Okay, you've always had political parties, the red and the gold. They're competing with the numbers. Okay, so what the thing is, and you've heard labor leaders say, leave those colors home. Do not come out. Every year. This is not the first time. So now for Mr. Ferguson and those to use this as an excuse, one of the excuses, right? Because P already debunked a lot of the reasons they said about the memorandum or whatever paper they signed. Okay? To use this as an excuse to ask for your members, the members that you lead and that you claim to want to fight for years, to tell them to not to participate in the march, for the people to more or less not galvanate, to send a message from the labor force. To me, you are destroying the very thing that you built. So when you encourage workers not to show up, not to stand up, and not to send a message to whoever you're sending a message to, you, sir, are doing a disservice to your membership and to the unions. And what message are you sending to the younger folks to give them the strength and the encouragement to really get out there and stand up, show up for what you believe in? Rodney Munkus, he was the Workers' Party leader. This is what you're going to be sending a message. That is what I have a problem with. Now, like I said, Ivan, the wording about putting out the pasture with the word you use, you're brilliant. Come with a different, form of what you have to say, but not that. But I totally agree with your essence and what you're saying. Thank you all. Stay safe.
Thank you so much.
So maybe we should carry the donkey to Inagua because in Inagua they just eat donkey.
Wow, it's amazing.
What you think?
You're not taking advice. You're going from worse to worse.
But you all tell me don't put the donkey in the pasture.
Yeah,
I'm trying to help you all by realizing
you're talking about eating the donkey, so you still got to kill the donkey to eat it.
Well, you could eat living donkey.
Wow,
I don't know.
wow,
I don't know. I've never eaten donkey in my life.
Welcome to Freedom March. Call you live.
Good afternoon, Mr. Miller.
Hello.
Good afternoon, spiritual advisor.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Miller.
Present.
I'm one of the women them, and I love you with my whole heart.
Oh, praise the Lord.
I want you to know, I support what you're saying. I understand as you go through the documents and all the content that you're using, but strongly, I oppose to shooting the donkey.
Okay.
Because of the violence we have in the country now, and you have little children that really, really watch. I have a grandson who admires you. I don't want him to take that language on from you, please.
Okay.
And you're doing an excellent job. I love where you and spiritual advisors taking this program. Let's not take it there. Because the things that you put forward, I listened to the minister as she did her speech. She did it very professionally, elegantly, and we understand. I'm a part of the union, and I understand everything on both sides. But what we want to do is do it professionally, that those who listen to what we say don't get the wrong interpretation. I don't want you to take it there. You're a professional man, an excellent young man. You're taking this show somewhere. Let's cut that right there and use it, tune it down a little bit that you are. Show them what you're saying is absolutely vital. But we don't want to take it to that part where the young person interpret that word differently, and they think that what you're saying is the right thing. What you're saying is the right thing, but that's not do shooting the donkey. I love you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, caller.
You all continue to do an excellent job. Also, before I end, I just want to congratulate two of my young ladies. They graduated yesterday from UB, nurses Sandra Coker and nurse Nodes. Nodes. Both of them graduated from university yesterday as nurses. So I want to thank you all and have a blessed afternoon.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Congratulations, nurses.
All right, take care.
We have another phone call?
Welcome to Freedom March. Call you live.
Spiritual advisor. What's
Yes.
my role, spiritual advisor? Before I start, what's my role?
What's your role?
No. What is my role on your show before I start?
No, man, just go ahead. Keep going. I got that covered. Keep going, yeah.
How you doing, sir?
If I die in our show, I feel good.
Take it from me, William. That thing with the donkey, leave it alone. People, when they're desperate.
But Jesus, anyone you all ever sat in it? Hold on. Because I mean, I feel like, has anyone ever sat in an English class?
No, leave on.
Hold on, man. I asking the questions now, Dave. Do you know? Hold on. Do you know what is a simile?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what is an idiom?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what is a metaphor?
Yes, sir.
So if I metaphorically say that is the man a donkey? He's not.
No.
But you make reference to him as a donkey.
But if I metaphor when Rodney Monk say we're gonna throw rocks politically, that is a metaphor.
Yeah, but Liwan.
Hi.
Take it from me. For a man who people is trying to switch my words, I know what's going on. That'll be something they try to use against you to silence you, okay? I know what's going on.
Oh, boy. Okay.
No,
I'm advised. I am so advised. Go on.
Believe me, but that being said, spiritual advisor, you said Antoine Thompson, Chicago Line, and Fian Johnson. See, listen to me. Those three young.
What did I say? What did I say about them? Finish it off now. Don't. Finish it off.
You said that they are non-biased. First of all, Chicago Line take a week off where intentionally where he cannot comment about Pentagon not showing up to the port authority. Chicago Line is third words. And number two, Fian Johnson is an operative. And Antoine only mad because certain things he wants to try strong on PLP and BS.
And what are you, Dave?
Who, me?
And what are you, yeah?
But I the PLP.
You're a PLP operative.
No.
Don't leave that word off.
No, but that
You're a PLP operative.
No, that being said.
Dave, you know something? I just read a passage this afternoon where I say, take the plank of your own eye so you can see clearly in the other fella eye, okay?
No.
You was a PLP operative. It's amazing. You call this show to speak down to Chicago Line and Anton Thompson when you was a PLP operative. Everybody know this country who you are, Dave.
Chicago Line take a week off intentionally.
Anyhow.
To avoid laughing now. I'm saying this right now. This Obi Ferguson is a perfect opportunist. Obi Ferguson, in case you don't know,
Obi Ferguson
ran for the CEO. I mean the Bernie North Party in 2002. Now. Obi Ferguson, look at Obi Ferguson.
Well, that don't have no credence because Bernard Nordage ran for Bernard Nordage's party in 2002. What does it mean?
A part of behavior. Obi Ferguson, when the government changed, Obi Ferguson was one with the QC, you know. All right? All the way he wanted the government to renovate his building for his name. Obi Ferguson for years and years and years. Him and John Pinder, it was him. This man always forgot Obi Ferguson. So Obi Ferguson has no credibility when it comes telling the PLP don't march. Because PLP is march every year with Labour. Every year with Labour.
Thank you so much, Dave. You
very
gotta
much.
go.
I just want to read Clause E of this MOU again, man. The parties acknowledge the historic role that the unions have played in the democracy of our Bahamas and the creation of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, which was a political maneuver, and that this role supported the political struggle in which the Progressive Liberal Party played a leading role. And now the man come and say, He ain't want to be a part of this, boy. This, absolutely not. This is just too much of politics. I can't handle it.
So can I use this metaphor?
Yeah.
Obi Ferguson, this is what happens when you make pact with the devil.
Oh boy. Well, who's the devil? Brave? Only Brave and Fred was there. Who is the devil? Let me tell you, I know who all was there because they name on the list. Brave was there, Fred was there, Obi was there. Who is? Boy. Anyway, so you all don't carry the donkey nowhere. Maybe in Agua, because they just eat donkey in Agua. Don't bring it to me because I don't eat donkey. But outside of that, man, Obi, hang this up, man. It's time to just hang it up, Obi. All right? Anyway, Pierre Gloverall, I think you're doing a wonderful job in Labour, by the way. I think you are the best Minister of Labour my life's history has ever witnessed. We'll see you again tomorrow, right here on Freedom March.
If it's the Lord's will.